That was a big one, boys and girls. Denver Broncos take down the Kansas City Chiefs 22-19 and put themselves firmly in control of the AFC West and in fantastic position to attempt to get a number one overall seed in the AFC this year. It will require a little bit of help as you need one or two teams to lose. But the Patriots and Colts both have great records, and the Colts have the tiebreaker over the Broncos. But what a freaking win that was. That was a big boy win, and that was the type of win that affirms you as a team. Not only are we having success, this feels like a magical year. This feels like one of those years that you need to be dreaming and talking about Super Bowls every single day. We will dive into the All-22 coaches film here in just a second. And we'll break down the Broncos offense against the Kansas City Chiefs. Really talented defense. Overall, I thought the Broncos offense did a pretty dang good job. Was it perfect? Nope. But it was better. Started out the game with a good drive, settled with 3 points. Another drive, settled with 3 points. Was feeling a little bit frustrated, a little bit concerned that if you don't walk away with touchdowns in the red zone, you probably won't be able to beat the Chiefs. Fortunately, the Broncos defense did their part as well and held the Chiefs offense inside the red zone twice, 2 field goals as well. Bo Nix goes 24 of 37. Throws for 295 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but a reasonable day for Bo Nix. The Broncos rushing attack, I thought actually they had some moments where they did a lot of good things, but they just didn't run the ball at all. R.J. Harvey ends up with only 11 touches on the game for 30 yards. I thought Jaleel McLaughlin looked pretty good with the few touches that he had, but statistically speaking, it's not going to look like anything impressive. He only had 6 touches for 19 yards. So we'll dive into all the film, as we always do. But overall, man, I just couldn't be any more thrilled with where this Denver Broncos offense is at. They're not the Broncos offense, excuse me. I should say the Broncos team. They're just in great position. Before we do dive in any further here, though, I do want to take a quick second to thank my title sponsor, Safeway. Safeway's been with Mount Columbus Speaks now for a long time, and super grateful to them. Guys, there is a difference in where you shop, and you need to shop at your local Safeway store today. They support local small businesses, so know that when you shop at Safeway, you are supporting your local businesses. They cut their fruit fresh in store every single day, and believe me, you can taste the difference. They also have an incredible app that if you don't have on your phone, you're missing out on. Skip the other delivery service apps. Order directly from Safeway. You're going to save time. You're going to save money. If you want to get that food delivered to your doorstep before you bat your eye, it's going to be at your door. They save your orders. You can repeat their orders. That's what I do. It takes me a total of 3 minutes to get my order in every week as I add just 2 or 3 new items and repeat the previous week's order. Safeway, fresh foods, local flavors. Check out your local Safeway store today. All right, let's dive into this sucker and see what we got. First play of the game was not great. First play of the game, we started out with the sack. All right, what goes wrong here? Let's check her out. Going 5 wide. Oh, okay. I think Bolsey just misses the slide here. Sure seems to me like we should be in 2-jet. I don't know what the actual protection was called, so I'm just making assumptions here, and I could very easily be wrong. But it sure seems to me like this should be 2-jet protection, meaning we're man on over here, we're man on over here, and we got a 3-man slide going to the left with. Which generally speaking puts your offensive tackle on the widest rusher, which would be this guy. I don't know. Maybe they, for some reason, they're manning this up over here. It is a little bit weird because if you watch Paul Chesky right here, he doesn't look like he's on a typical slide, but this sure seems like it should be a 2-jet protection to me. All right, so it didn't feel great starting out the game, that's for sure. Broncos are going to march down the field here, though, and have a very good-looking drive. They are going to have to stall out for 3 points in the red zone, which is a bummer. But based off the starts to football games that we've had in previous weeks, all the 3 and outs that we've been having to deal with as a fan base, as a team, we will take a successful drive, marching down the field, and getting any points at all. Broncos go with the simple bootleg concept here. We're going to fake the toss to R.J. Harvey. We ran this concept a few times now, as you're going to try to hide Troy Franklin in the backfield, as Bo Nix is going to bootleg this sucker out. Troy Franklin's going to start on the left-hand side of your screen. You're going to come around. Oops, excuse me. Don't worry about that little line right there. But he's just going to come around, sneak out of the backfield, and hope that nobody finds him. Good job for Bo just buying time, man. You know, he buys time, buys time, buys time. At the last second, he gets 23 to bait up on him, thinking he's going to run the football. Fortunately, 27 falls, and you're able to get a few yards out of a bad play. Okay, so now you got third down. Good ball from Bo. Good job from Pat Bryant, knowing where the sticks are at, knowing where he needs to get to. He does have to come back to the ball a little bit, needs to fight himself back up to get the first down. But that's a good job from the quarterback and the wide receiver, knowing where they need to go. Pat Bryant has been an absolute first down merchant for the Denver Broncos. Seems like every time he touches the football, he ends up getting a first down. This is a little bit of a tricky one. I mean, it works out just fine. But so this is 3 jet protection instead of 2 jets. So we're going to be man on the left side for these 2 players right here. Okay, so we got the 3-man slide going this way with these guys. And your tackle should be responsible for the widest rusher. Then Tyler Bidet, he's going to be responsible for anything coming up inside. Now you're going to see as this thing unfolds. 1 second. So we kind of get a weird situation here where, why is this freezing on me? And why can't I? Well, bottom line is this is the defensive end. Normally he's going to be the widest. This linebacker ends up coming up the gap. He's the widest. So these two do a good job passing it off. That's all I was trying to point out there. Sorry. All right, I think I got control of the technical difficulties here. So we'll carry on. RJ, I thought, got better as the game went on. He did not get a ton of touches in this game, but he actually did have a handful of pretty good runs given the circumstances. Um, Broncos need to be better running the football overall, but RJ, I would say, was okay on the game as a whole. Nowhere to go on this one for him. Bo's going to target Troy Franklin here on this one. He's going to take a deep shot, and they were just not. They're just this close all the time, right? And for whatever reason, they did end up finally connecting on a deep ball in this game. But this one, Bo just overthrows it by about 6 inches, 1 foot. Troy Franklin did a nice job of trying to make a play on this ball. I did not think Troy Franklin had a particularly good day. Matter of fact, he probably had a bit of a bad day. He had a bunch of drops in this game, but they did connect on one decent deep ball a little bit later in the game. One thing I do want you to watch is look at how much cleaner Bo Nix's footwork is in this game. He doesn't have happy feet. His feet are where they're supposed to be. He's got that left foot in front of the right foot. He's planting, driving off that back foot. He's just so much more calm in the pocket against the Chiefs in comparison to other games where his footwork has looked really chaotic. I thought his footwork was much improved against the Chiefs. Again, good job of getting to the top of your drop. If you're Bo Nix, look at his footwork. He gets all the way to the top. He's going to climb up inside the pocket rather than trying to scramble outside. He stays calm and collected and delivers a nice strike to Cortland Sutton. First down, gain of 21 yards. This is honestly a pretty good looking pocket in the NFL. So your tackles are always responsible for the width of the pocket. They do a good job. Obviously, 54 isn't really rushing. So you got a double team there in the middle of your screen. Nowhere to go. Quinn Miners gets a nice little punch on number 90. They pass off what I think was they were attempting to have a game, although they didn't end up running the game. And Bo Nix just steps up into the pocket and delivers a good looking ball. Quinn Miners ends up getting beat here. I'm going to show you from another angle. Quinn was going up against a really good football player in Chris Jones, and Quinn's been so phenomenal for the Broncos. This is one of the weaker performances I've seen from Quinn Miners in a very long time. So eyes on 77 over here. He's going up against 95. Chris Jones, great football player. Chris Jones is going to get his. But Quinn was just a little bit off. You'll see how he just hangs his hands out there. He puts his hands out there and he just hangs them. Rather than keeping his hands tight to his chest and exploding with a punch, he hangs those hands out there. That gives Chris Jones the opportunity to just get a quick little bat of those hands. He gets it off his shoulders and he gets through. So Bo Nix feels that. He knows that his center's gotten beat also. So both Luke Wattenberg and Quinn Miners get beat at the same time. No chance for Bo Nix to step up in the pocket. He does have to get outside the pocket here. Nice job throwing on the run. Finds Evan Ingram. Another first down merchant for the Broncos. Evan has not been a super explosive player for the Broncos in terms of having like 100-yard games, but Evans been slowly but surely just been a very consistent football player and a nice addition to the Broncos offense. So Jaleel McLaughlin's going to get his first touch in forever. Jaleel has been a healthy scratch for the entirety of this season. I think Jaleel might have dressed for one football game. So if anybody doesn't know the rules, on game day, so you've got 53 guys on your active roster, and on game day you're only allowed to dress 46 of them. So 7 guys you have to sit down, meaning they're going to be healthy scratches. They don't even get to wear pads. I'm a big fan of Jaleel McLaughlin. I don't understand Sean Payton's love affair with Tyler Bidet. Jaleel's just got a shiftiness to him and an explosiveness to him that I really, really like. So glad that Jaleel got some touches early on in this game, and I'd like to see his workload continue to get ramped up. Okay, so this is going to be an 18 Wanda concept. So that means we got to push to the front side linebackers, okay? So we've got a single block on the front side. up to 23, and we've got a B block on the backside to 32. But pretty simple concept. You got a hat for a hat, and it's fairly well executed. Luke Wattenberg does a nice job there. Luke Wattenberg is going to be the only one that gets ISO'd up there. He's got to stretch 69. Look how Luke gets his hat to the play side. He ends up stretching his man 5-6 yards, ends up torquing him all the way out. That's just a great job. Hold on, I'm eyes on Luke Wattenberg right here, okay? Well, look how far he's going to push this dude all the way out, and then the last second, he's just going to torque him, and he's going to pancake him. Cakes and pies, got to get those. Torque, put your big old belly on him, make him feel you. Another good looking run here from Jaleel McLaughlin. Let the young man get some work in. Let him see if he can get some rhythm. We've got the exact same play as you had last time, but a slightly different defense. So literally the exact same play to the same side. You've got 18 Wanda. This time on the backside, we're going to have to go A block on the backside all the way up to 23. And we've got a C block between our tight end and our tackle all the way up to 32. Clean box, good look. It makes it simple. It makes for simple reads for your running back. Don't love this from Mike McGlinchey. Okay. Eyes on your right tack. Oops. Sorry. Let me rewind that. Nope. Nope. All right. Or not. We're just going to move on to the next play. So this is going to be the start of the end of this drive. Well, this play, not really. You just picked up a first down. After this play is going to be the start of the end of this drive. You had a great looking drive. You drove all the way down to the red zone. Unfortunately, the Broncos are going to stall out, but not because of this play. You're going to find Pat Bryant again. You're going to connect first 6 yards, and guess what? Pat Bryant ends up getting himself a first down. Look at the offensive line. Look at the pass protection. Bo Nix has got all day. Set your feet, deliver. Fats finds Pat Bryant out there on the flat. So Frank Crumb's going to check into the game as an eligible tight end, eligible tackle, I should say. I don't understand this, Sean. Don't get it. Don't get it. Don't know why you called it. You did the exact same thing last week. You had a 3rd-and-1 situation last week, and you called up some stupid trick play with Cortland Sutton on the double pass. Broncos been driving the ball so freaking well. It's been a beautiful drive. And for some stupid reason, when the basics have been working, and I mean like 18 Wanda, the run play that I showed you 2 times in a row, it's about as simple of a play as you can get in the playbook, but sometimes simple works. Keep it simple, stupid. Broncos decide to overcomplicate it here. It's 1st and 10. They still do have an opportunity to pick up a first down. It's not 1st and goal. So just keep the chains moving, man. Pick up another 3-4 yards. Absolutely no reason to go with the trick play here. RJ Harvey throws up an absolute lob pass. Quite frankly, really lucky that this ball was not intercepted. But I put this on Sean Payton. Why are you overthinking this sucker? You got a great drive going. You don't need a trick play. Stick to the basics. The basics are working. Okay, we got a RPO concept going on. All right, so we're gonna hang this back guy on the end man on the line of scrimmage. If he crashes down to the mesh point, Bo Nix is gonna keep it. If he goes up the field this way, you're gonna hand that ball off. In this particular circumstance, he's going to be just a little bit gray, so he hangs out right in here. Bo Nix is going to keep this ball. He's going to go. He's going to try to threaten the run. We're going to get a quick little dart out of the backfield with Evan Ingram. So Bo's going to stretch this player right here, make him make a decision. As soon as he's got a good read on him, you can either run it or you can dump it off over his head to Evan Ingram. And this was the real killer of the drive, right? You got a good drive going. Well, there's two killers. You're probably in four down territory, honestly. I mean, look at where the stick is right over here. Uh, you want to be aggressive. You're going up against the Chiefs. You got a third and what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a 3rd and 4 situation. The only thing you can do wrong on this particular play is take a sack. Otherwise, you're probably in four down territory because you know that you're playing the Chiefs and you got to be aggressive. Unfortunately, Bo ends up taking a sack. So you got two bad plays down here. You got the trick play and you end up taking a sack, and that's going to force you to take a field goal. Honestly, it's pretty good pass protection at the beginning. Garrett Bowles, number 72, your left tackle. Eyes over here. Okay. I think he's in decent shape at the beginning. He's got to right there. He gives up. He sets just a little bit too far, but he's really not in bad shape because Bo drifted for no particular reason. That just opens up that inside go for 56, and Bo Nix is going to feel that threat in there. Garrett's probably got to stay a little bit more inside out, but I really don't think it was a terrible set from him. All right, there's 3 points for the good guys. Okay. Got an outside zone concept here. You guys have heard me talk about gun runs. Gun runs can be difficult. There's really only one way to run out of the gun, and that's opposite direction of wherever your running back is situated. That's a pretty good stretch from Garrett Bowles there. Eyes on your left tackle. That's a tough block. Um, I like this from Alex Palczewski and Luke Wattenberg. So Bowles has got one job. He's got to kick this dude out that direction. We've got a single block on the front side up to 23. Because this guy is backside, like his wall is right there, you've got really good leverage. That means that Palczewski can give a good little shot on that shoulder before he has to climb up to the second level. Gives Luke Wattenberg plenty of time to take it over. I mean, hindsight 2020, easy to play armchair running back, right? You could either press that play side where this dude's already got him beat, or you could cut this sucker back right there, probably gain 5 or 6 yards. Tips and overthrows, got to get those on defense. Those are the most dangerous plays in the game in terms of getting interceptions. That's an old Pete Carroll phrase. When we were sitting in the team meeting room, he'd say tips and overthrows. The whole team would have to say, got to get those. This ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. I do think he probably has Cortland Sutton, but I think he was going to throw that ball behind him anyways, just based off the angle of that football. Really good pass protection for the most part. Bolsey's got to stay on his feet, but he does block his man long enough to get that ball off. I don't know why Bo is drifting like this, okay? Like right now, it's a good-looking pocket. Right now, I'm sure he feels him crashing down, which makes him feel like he wants to shift out over here. But if Bo Nix just would have stayed right where he's at, climbed up the pocket 1 or 2 steps, this ball doesn't get batted down. But because he drifts out this way, it just gives the defense time to get over here, get our hands up, and bat the ball. So Broncos settle for 3 points again. You do have 6 points on the board at this point in time. I mean, am I happy the Broncos scored twice? Of course I am. But admittedly, I'm a little bit nervous as, you know, if you play the Chiefs, man, historically speaking, field goals are not going to beat the Chiefs. Now, fortunately, the Broncos defense, the Kansas City Chiefs offense marches down the field, gets in the red zone. Two different times the Broncos defense holds them. They hold them to 3 points. So it was like a net wash. The Chiefs held our offense twice in the red zone. Our defense held their offense twice in the red zone. So it's kind of like wash. Let's call it good. It's really like a 0-0 ball game at that point in time. All right, okay. So we got 19 called, right? So we got a triple call up to 32. We're going to be manned on right there. We've got a block on the backside from these two up to 23. Normally, if you got a 3-backer box, you got to hang the in man on the line of scrimmage. And it's totally normal for this guy to go unblocked there. This particular circumstance, you've got a hat for a hat. Everybody is blocked. That means that Mike McGlinchey does not need to hang this end man on the line right here. I don't like this for Mike. I understand it. He doesn't want to get beat inside. But Mike just overshoots his guy and gets a little bit too aggressive, tries to peel black on him, but that guy's able to make a tackle coming down the end man of the line, when in reality, McGlinchey should have had his hands on him, and that dude should not be going scot-free into the backfield. Okay, we got a play action pass here, and Bo Nix has only got 2 wide receivers out. We got this right here. We got Cortland Sutton coming across the middle. I think if Bo would have let this sucker rip, he could have oops, gosh, bad line. Let me try that again. If Bo Nix would have let this sucker rip, he probably could have fired that sucker in there, would have had a window, but it would have been a tight window, admittedly. So I don't mind him turning this down because he feels this safety closing in right there. Could have been a pick opportunity for Kansas City. If he would have let it rip right away, I think he probably could have stuck it in that window, but he doesn't feel like he's got anything. So after the big play action shot, we're going to end up checking this sucker down all the way back to our running back. And this one, referees call it dead. I understand why they called it dead, but in hindsight, it was frustrating because, man, Jaleel could have broke this one for a big gain. It did definitely look like he was going to go down. I'm just going to skip over this angle, go to the next play. All right, excuse me. Started the second quarter. Got a third and forever situation. We're just going to hit our check down to Evan Ingram. You know, do we like this? I think I like this. How about we take a home run shot? That thing looks pretty clean right there. You got everything you want, man. I would have let that sucker rip. Fire away. You got 1-on-1. Okay, we're going to hit Pat Bryant on this one for about 15 yards. Great pass protection. Bo does a good job with his eyes. You'll see, look at Bo's eyes right here. He's looking over towards this side. He's going to go 1 to 2, and then he's going to end up hitting his third guy in the progression. Go with the bootleg concept here, and the man on the line just doesn't bite. So when you run these bootlegs, this end man on the line, he's going to be unaccounted for with any Broncos offensive lineman. That's totally standard practice because you're faking the handoff over here. You're counting on this guy crashing down the field. That gives your quarterback an opportunity to escape the pocket. 56 does a good job of identifying it right away. He does not crash down the field. He goes up the field, and that gives Bo Nix no chance to get outside the pocket and let the play develop. And the bubble screen Kings are back at it again. It's actually two pretty good blocks on the outside, out there on the perimeter from Cortland Sutton and Adam Troutman. Problem is the safety identified it really quick. Safety flies when you bring R.J. Harvey in motion. But look at these two blocks right here from these two guys. How did I just get a square? I did not intend to do that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So pretty good job there. The problem was that this dude right here, he starts all the way in the middle of the field and he tracked it all the way down with the motion, and you weren't able to outflank him. Still not a bad play. You picked up 4 or 5. All right, Bo's got some pressure on this one. I think both tackles don't have their best sets. Let's start with 72, your left tackle. He just doesn't get a punch on him. You know, he gets that long arm put on him, and that just makes him a little bit soft. He doesn't have his hands, so he's got no ability to get his hands on the steering wheel and control that guy. Because he got the long arm on him. So Bowles gets a little bit soft. Mike McGlinchey ends up getting bull rushed, and Bo Nix feels that sandwich coming on from those two defenders outside on the edge. Your middle, the interior of the offensive line, they do a good job, but both tackles end up giving up way too much ground. So we got a punt from Crawshaw. And it feels like, all of a sudden you're starting to lose momentum a little bit. First and 10, and Bo Nix gets his first really decent looking scramble of the game. Good pass protection from everybody except for Quinn Miners. Quinn's got to come down a long ways. I don't think that Luke Wattenberg does Quinn any favors here. Luke's got nowhere to go. Okay, at this point in time, Luke's gonna feel this dude going this direction. So he's going to keep his eyes outside, and he's going to trust that Quinn Miners is going to come back and cover that dude up. That's fine. The problem is there's really nobody for Luke Wattenberg to go to. So he should have stayed heavy on him, given a good little punch, and passed it off to Quinn Miners. It would have made life a little bit more clean for Quinn. Pretty good job for Bo Nix climbing up in the pocket here. I would have liked to see him hop up a little bit more rather than run up. If you hop up, that gives you a chance to keep your feet planted and get a little bit more torque on your throw. Alex Palczewski, your left guard, he's the one that gets beat on this one, number 63, eyes on 63. He just ends up wrapping those hands. And right now, okay, you see how his head is buried? Oh, hold on. See how his head is buried right there and his shoulders are leaning forwards? You want to have your hat back and you want to have your shoulders back. See how this hat is back and the shoulders are back? That's what you want to look like. As soon as you lean on this guy, that gives him an opportunity to, all he's got to do is swat that hand right there. And once he swats that hand, you've got no ability to recover. Got a minute 18 left in the half here. Got a designed quarterback run. I was a little bit disappointed in this one. All you got to do is lean forward about another 6 inches. Bo, get that hat down and run through that dude. All right, so that was it for the first half there. Broncos end up going into halftime with a tied football game, and I think everybody would take that going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Was the offense perfect in the first half? Hell no. Offense was far from perfect. You had 2 opportunities to score down there in the red zone. You didn't put the ball in the end zone either one of those times, and you had a couple stalled out possessions in the first half as well. In the second half, things are going to get a little bit better. I will break down the second half film. I'll have that out for you guys by tomorrow. If you guys have not subscribed to Mount Columbus Speaks and you're new to the channel, hit that link in my bio on X, go on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. That's where my content lives. You want to make sure you don't miss out on anything, get notifications. That's how you get it over there on YouTube. And if you appreciate what I'm doing, just know that I'd appreciate you helping me grow my YouTube channel by going over there and hit subscribe. That would mean a lot to me, and I'd be grateful. Big win for the Broncos. We'll dive into the second half film tomorrow. But for the first half, there was a little bit of good. There was a little bit of bad, like there always seems to be with this Denver Broncos offense. That being said, we know the end result. The end result ends up with a victory for the Broncos, so all is good and well. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for the second half film of the Denver Broncos